look at how Mentimeter works, basically. Okay, so I'm just going on to the Mentimeter website, so it's www.mentimeter.com. Obviously, if you have registered already, just log in. Otherwise, you click on Get Started. So I'm just going to log in, and you put in your email address. Okay, so once you're logged in there, you can see your email address comes up. So these are your presentations. Okay, so you can see already I have some created from previous exercises. You can organize your presentations. If you're doing quite a lot, you can organize them within different folders. So you could create a new folder. For example, if I was doing for my social legal health studies, I could create a new folder for that and move it directly into it. You can see I have two folders here at the top. This is just a few test files that I have here. If I wanted, this is also a legal studies quiz, so that really should be in my legal studies folder. So you have options over here to be able to actually manipulate or manage your files. So for example, in this one, I can open it, okay? I can share it. I can export it. Now we're going to talk more about exporting later once you've done a Mentimeter, but this gives me the option also to move it to a different folder. So if I click on that, it shows up the different folders that I have. So I'm going to just click on Legal Studies and then just do a move. And you can see then that's moved into my Legal Studies folder. So this is more to manipulate and manage your files after you've created a few, okay? You also have the option to create a duplicate. You also have the option to delete it if you've done with it, okay? You are limited to, because this is a free version of Mentimeter that we're using, you are limited to the number of presentations that you can create, the number of quizzes more so, and within your quizzes you're also limited to the number of slides you can have within your quiz. I use it particularly for small quizzes, kind of in the middle of where I'm presenting something and I'm just really like a quick formative assessment, kind of going, well, did you actually listen to what I was talking about? Are you able to answer it? Okay. We're now going to just create a new presentation. So here, just click on new presentation. The first thing you have to do is give it a name. So we're just going to give it an example for Merino example. And then click on create presentation. Okay, and it brings you into your presentation. Okay. So once you get in there, you have lots of different slides you can choose from. Okay, so you can see here you can have multiple choice. You can actually do an image choice. So for example, if you were within marketing, you had projected maybe 3 or 4 different logos and you're actually asking people's opinion, you know, which logo do they prefer. You can do a word cloud. You can do kind of open-ended. So this I find is quite handy for people when you want them to just post something about themselves. Okay, so if I click on an open-ended one, so an example would be where you put it in, say something like, tell us a little bit about yourself, okay? And basically what they're doing is you allow them to do speech bubbles. You can force them to do it one by one, but I don't normally do that. But basically, as they enter something in, once they have the code, they'll enter something in and it'll appear on the screen. So you can filter with all of these slide types. You can filter the profanities. In other words, basically, just make sure you don't use any kind of rude words. And you can also allow the audience to submit more than once, okay? So in this instance, you probably would say no, that you only want them to enter one thing. But maybe with a word cloud, for example, when you're trying to brainstorm ideas, you would allow them to submit more than once, okay? Once you're happy enough with that, you can go back to your type. So you have 3 options up here. You have your type, your content, and you can customize it. So that's like giving it backgrounds, adding images to your backgrounds, things like that, okay? So we're going to just go back to our type. We want a new slide, okay? And this time, for example, we might pick a word cloud, okay? And the word cloud could be, okay? So your word cloud could be something like define blended learning, okay? Or, again, define equality. What does equality mean to you? What does diversity mean to you? What do you understand by the term? E-learning, things like that, okay? You allow them a certain number of entries, so you can change that to whatever you want, but generally 3 is kind of the most acceptable. Again, you can filter profanities, and then you again could allow them in this instance, because you're trying to get them to actually brainstorm, you might actually in this instance allow them to do it more than once. So we say we'll do it more than once, okay? At this point, we're just going to present, so you can have an idea of what it would actually going to look like, okay? So we're just going to do a present. Let's just take the previous one first, okay? So tell us a little bit about yourself. So again, you just move through your slides like this, like that, back and forward. Okay, so tell us a little about yourself. Okay, so the code that you're giving to your students is this one up here, 330424. Okay, and they basically, ideally, you know, if they're on a PC, fine, but the idea is that you can get your students to do this on their phones. Like if you turn around and say to your students to get your phone in a class, they're usually kind of going, yay. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my phone. I'm also going to use a different browser here in the background, and I'm going to just put in the code. So it's 330424. Okay, and I'm going to submit. Okay, and now I'm getting, tell us a little bit about yourself. So for example, here I could type in something like, and just if we go back now to our, so basically I just put in this Geraldine teacher in Whitehill College, Vermont and living in Meath. Okay, and that's present itself. Okay, I'm going to do something similar on my phone. And you can see there that's come up now from my phone basically, and like this is just their way maybe of sharing, you know, a bit of information about themselves. Okay, so there's various ways you can use, you can get them to use it for, so you can get them to use it for that. You could, generally I tend to do these one slide at a time. I'm just putting the two of them in the same Menti here at this stage just so you can see both of them, but generally, you know, one slide, either doing a brainstorm or sharing a bit of information, go back to the class, do a little bit more work, and then bring them back to this later. Okay, so in this instance we're saying, right, give us some words for define blended learning. What do we know about blended learning? Okay, and again, using my other browser, I'm going to put in like, okay, online, just a few terms that you might associate with blended learning. So again, submitting it, and like this where we have a word cloud, so the words come up. Okay, the ones that are entered more than once basically are more often, the more often they're entered, the more often, the bigger they will become on the screen. Okay, and again you can actually see, okay, and so there you can see that 3 people have entered, so I've just entered a few different terms there myself. Okay, but you can see the ones that are entered more often, so like face to face basically, are actually coming up bigger. Okay, so you know, you're getting brainstorm, you're getting ideas, and the kind of the key ideas will always show up, well, should generally show up at more than the other ones. Okay, but it's basically, it's just another tool to get the information up on the screen. One of the advantages of it is the fact that it's actually quite anonymous. Okay, so nobody knows what anybody's typing in, so if there's spelling mistakes, it's not a problem. The idea being that yeah, and some people might think that one idea might be a little bit sillier than the rest, but again, nobody knows who put it up on the screen, so you know, there's not the same kind of loss of face as such basically. Okay, and just down here, so basically when you're in there, and the quick way to get home is just to click on your home button basically. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick look back on that. So that's the Merino example that I have here. Okay, so with the first slide, when it decides to come up, okay, we can see we have some information. Same with our second slide, we have some information. Okay, now generally when you do something like this, it's really a good idea, and maybe not the first slide because, you know, that's just personal information, but for the second slide where you've done a brainstorm, you want to save this information, give it to them, put it up on their Moodle page so they can refer back to it basically. Okay, so you have two options over here. You can export it, or if you don't want it for some reasons, you can just say, right, well actually in this instance I'm going to reset and archive the results. I'm going to just reset that slide, okay, because I want the other one. Okay, so you clear that down, and then you take this here and you go, right, I'm going to export that, and you do it slide by side. Okay, so so see over here you have the option of actually creating a PDF, or you have the option of creating an image basically. Okay, so again, just like click on this. This is the one we want, so we're going to download that. Just open it, and obviously you just save it yourself under a proper name that you'll be able to relate to, and you can put that up on Moodle then, so they can actually relate or refer back to it as and when they need it basically. As you see now, it'll come up as an image. Okay, so there you can see now you have it as an image basically, and you can see how many people participated as well. So it just gives you everything, and that then you can save and upload it to your Moodle page. Okay, another way of actually sharing the information in an interactive but like instant way is if you go back to your actual presentations. And again, there's various ways of getting back to presentations. You could click on Mentimeter. You have the home option down here. Let's log out now because we've got there already. Our presentations, okay. And over here you can see you have this option to share voting link or results. And what that does is it shares it as it's live. So basically, if you clear it, so you share it and you can embed it in your Moodle page. But once you clear it, obviously all the results are gone. Okay, so generally you're better off just exporting the results so you have it as a hard copy of the information as such. You're going to reuse these probably with different classes. So that's why once you've exported it, you will want to kind of archive and clear the results. Okay. This export option is exactly the same as the one we just used. So the last thing I just wanted to show you was an actual quiz. So basically using a multiple choice question. So if I just go in here to the legal studies and let's pick a question on the Constitution. Okay, so what I did with this was I did a presentation on the Constitution. I basically used a little YouTube video that I explained what the Constitution was. I went over the information that was in the Constitution a second time in my PowerPoint slides and in discussion with the class, and then I put in these questions basically to actually try and see what they actually had learned from the both. Okay, so basically this is just your heading slide, so I wouldn't worry about that one. So on the second one here, okay, so the type that I picked, obviously it was the multiple choice type. Okay, and the content, then again you put in the question here, so your question is here. Okay, and then here are your options. Now you can add as many options as you want, but generally 3, 4 is the max you want. Okay, and then you put in the answers or possible answers to the question. The one that's correct you tick. Okay, so basically this is how you mark it to say, yeah, that's the correct answer. Okay, you're allowed then to give them a certain length of time, so you can change that to be 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. And once you've done that, then you're ready to present it. So again, if I just go here for a second, I'll just come out of that one. So what you can see is here, basically what happens is here, they're waiting for players. Okay, once I've entered the code here, I get my little emoji, whatever it happened to be, in this case a volcano. I put in my name and join the quiz. So once you have your whole class joined, so they don't have to use their own names. It's only a bit of fun, really. It's just to kind of see what they've learned. Okay, but once you have your 10 or 11 or 15 or whatever number of students joined, you start question 1. And just to point out, the way this is based on obviously is getting the correct answer, but the faster you answer, the more points you get, basically. So we start question 1. So actually just bear with me for I do this on my phone too. What's handy about this is it's always up here. Your code's always at the very top of the page, no matter what point you are within the actual presentation. Okay, so you can see now there's my second little get ready to play Joan. Okay, and once we start our questions, we're going, there are something in the Irish Constitution. I've got no time, my time's gone, so now I have to pick which one. Okay, now all you're seeing as the teacher is this, because it's going to go up as people answer, but you can see here that these are the options here. So let's go with that one, and let's go with that one. Okay, everyone has voted, so they know how many people have joined the class, so they know when everybody has voted. Okay, and then once the votes come in, they're counted, and you can see there that this one, who was myself, got the correct answer, whereas the other one of myself didn't get the correct answer. Okay, you have the option here to show the leaderboard.